Let's go to Clarence in Richmond.
Let's do it.
Hi, Clarence. What are you doing?
Hello.
Hello, Clarence.
And Mark, how you guys doing?
Let's go to Mark.
We're good, Clarence.
All right, that's good. I'm doing good too. I'm excited about our Warriors this year with the new players coming in this year. They're going to be a lot better. The bench is going to be a lot more deeper. We got some veterans coming in, and the rookies even looking a lot better. Third-year guy, Kuminga, and Moses, and you got the rookie big guy, Trace
Jackson Davis.
So
call him TJD.
And it's early in the season. I mean, it's the preseason, but they got chemistry already. I mean, they're already looking like they're in mid-season form, and it's still preseason. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to be in the real mid-season. But I'm excited about how they're looking now. With the new pieces that they got this year. So my mindset is right now Warriors, because I know our 49ers, we know what they're doing. I'm not worried about them. I just know that right now I'm excited about how the Warriors looking. They're looking 10 times better already than the way they looked in last year's beginning of the season.
Okay, Clarence, thank you very much. This is an interesting couple of things that he says here, and it's kind of what I'm getting at today. Okay? The Warriors are looking good. The Warriors aren't looking like anything. The Warriors haven't played yet.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
They played last night.
No,
and they
haven't.
A huge home win.
Yeah, with a couple of players who are very key, people who I think are starters, who didn't even play in the game. I know that they had a lot of their big guys in there at the end, and I know that the Kings did as well. So I'm not going to flick this off as if it's nothing, but I am going to stop short of feeling like you see right now who the Warriors are going to be. No, you don't. Steve Kerr literally said before the game last night, we're going to start tinkering with different lineups. He is just literally gathering information and checking things out. You can love the vibe around the Warriors. I do too. You can be excited about the season. I am too. You can be optimistic about the different things that they have that they did not have last year. But this is preseason basketball. It is greater than summer league basketball, but it is way less than actual basketball. So I do think that the excitement around the Warriors is leading people down the road of thinking that we know more right now than we do. And we learn this lesson every year. I'll give you an example. The 49ers, week 1, went on the road to take on the Steelers. The fan base in Pittsburgh was all excited. Why? Kenny Pickett had not led a drive that didn't end in a touchdown all preseason long. And then he played the 49ers, and they couldn't get a first down. Like, preseason is preseason.
All preseasons are not created equally.
But all of them are something less than regular seasons.
Yes, but last night was as close to a regular season game as you're going to find. And the preseason football that you're talking about, and Kenny Pickett was not playing 4 quarters. And we look at the Niners, and Brock Purdy, in their 3 preseason football games, played about 5 total series in all 3 of those games. So you look at last night, and you had Steph Curry play 31 minutes. He'll normally play about 36 minutes. You had Chris Paul play 30. You had everybody playing except for Kevon Looney and Draymond Green. You played your guys for the majority of who you're going to play in the regular season. Now, I don't think that TJD is going to start a ton of games, but he started last night. But in terms of what that game meant versus a regular season game, that was more closely resembling regular season basketball than anything the Niners put out in the preseason.
Maybe, although the Niners preseason is completely different than what the Steelers were trying to do. All preseasons are different based on what the team is trying to achieve. I'm just trying to warn people that wasn't a regular season game. You can think that there was energy in the building. You can think that the guys were trying, whatever. And that's fine. But I think that Tuesday is an opener. And I will assess how good or bad the Warriors look starting on Tuesday.
Sure.
And I also think there was a dangerous statement in there with regard to the 49ers. This is the other thing I'm getting at today. We got to stop with the whole idea that the Niners are fine, so everything's cool here. Like, I just do not feel, and maybe that's why I'm speaking about the Vikings game the way that I am. I am sensing this complete blasé attitude about this game on Monday night. Oh, I got some guys that might be hurt. If they lose, they're 5-2. That wouldn't be that bad. I called it a massive game earlier because I believe that the word fits. Like, they are coming off a loss, and they absolutely have to win this game because they're the best team in the NFL, and there's no reason to go lose to a 2-4 football team. But the lack of energy that we're feeling right now, I think, is based on that. There's this collective thought that the Niners are fine. Niners are fine. That's not the way the NFL works.
Well, you're 4 days away from the game. And that to me is where the urgency has not yet kicked in. Now, if we get to Monday and the same blasé attitude exists, then we will have a different story in terms of how we're feeling about that game. But right now, we are 96 hours away from that game, so you can be blasé.
Yeah, but that's not the way the other weeks have felt. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. I go back to last Wednesday when the game against the Cleveland Browns was 4 days away, and we were all on it. We were all about it.
I don't know if we were about it.
Deshaun Watson news was coming out.
And today's a different day because we're coming off of our entire station devoting virtually the entire day to the Warriors, and then the Warriors went out and played the most intense preseason game that any of us can remember that included a buzzer beater, a virtual buzzer beater, by Steph Curry in a home win over your Northern California rival who you just dueled 7 games with 6 months ago. So all those factors, plus a Monday night game against Minnesota, leads the Niners to today being more of a back burner than they otherwise would be.
And I get it that, as I said to you guys earlier, I'm more than happy to be in the minority opinion here. But last night, and when you say this game felt like the biggest preseason game we can remember, I guess my question would be why? Why?
Because they treated it that way. The Warriors did.
I don't know. I mean,
the Warriors played the fourth quarter like they wanted to win the game. Normally in preseason, normal preseason game, and we can talk about preseason football. If I asked you what the Niners' record was in the preseason, you would have to think about it, and you would probably come up with the fact that they were 1-2.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know.
The only game they won was on a Jake Moody game-winning field goal. So that is...
Was that against the Chargers?
Yeah, the third game they played.
All right.
And if I asked you what the Warriors' preseason record was...
No clue.
Right. They're 4-0. They're undefeated.
Yeah.
Your Golden State Warriors, they're on pace to go 82-0 in the preseason, Mark.
Sweet.
If only there were 82 preseason games.
Right.
I believe there's only 5. They might run the table.
All right.
My point is, last night, they treated the game like it mattered. You had Wiggins play 31 minutes. You had all of your regulars, guys who are going to be in the rotation, and I would include Saric and Chris Paul among that group. They all played 28 to 32 minutes.
Okay, but let me ask you something.
They went for the win.
And 888-957-9570 is the number if you want to weigh in on this. Your state of mind right now as a Bay Area sports fan, leaning more Warriors, leaning more Niners, somewhere in between. We'd love to hear from you. Do you think that Steve Kerr was playing it to win? Do you think that's what his motivation was?
I think that he was, I don't know about playing it to win. Like, if they didn't win, I don't think he snaps a clipboard. I don't think they have a closed-door meeting.
I mean, not going to do that anyway.
They played it, yes, they played it to win. They played their guys in the fourth quarter in a game that they didn't have to. If they were just playing to play, then you wouldn't have played Steph Curry and the guys the last 8 minutes of that ball game, but you did.
See, but I would I would guess that they were doing that not to win the game. They were doing that because they're trying to dress rehearsal. They're trying to build chemistry among the guys who are going to potentially be out there toward the end because they haven't had a big chance to do that. I think Steve Kerr goes, I want to see these guys play basketball together, and the results of the scoreboard are the results of the scoreboard. If that shot does not go in from Steph Curry, Steve Kerr walks out of that building with the exact same feeling.
No, he's pissed.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Curry gets ripped in the postgame.
Exactly.
Gunner.
Like Steph Curry, no one needs to worry about Steph Curry making a three. Steph Curry can make a three. This is well established in this world. So if he misses that shot, it does not change the fact that he found the shot that they executed in order to get him the ball in space where he could put the shot up. If it rims in and out, you lose the basketball game. Okay, let's go get dinner. You know what I mean? But
they played their guys in the fourth quarter, and
because they want to do a dress rehearsal. He said this to us,
right? And I wonder about tomorrow night, the last preseason game against San Antonio, if they approach it a little bit differently in terms of you get to that fourth quarter, and no matter what the score is, does he just play the second string to get them more time? Does he not worry about playing the starters, quote unquote, in the fourth quarter, his finishing lineup in a game against San Antonio, as opposed to doing it against Sacramento, knowing that you want to keep the little brother under your thumb?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Steph Curry said this. We'll play it for you in a second off of NBC Sports Bay Area. And I bet, I don't even really consider this a debate. Both of these things are true. Do they want to win? Sure, they want to win. Is that actually why Steve Kerr is playing the guys to the end? In my opinion, no. I don't think that. I think he's playing those guys because he wants those guys to play together, and that's literally what Steph Curry said. Building winning habits, does that start with winning? I guess it also starts with the habits that you're creating with the chemistry with one another.
We got to get into the winning spirit a little earlier than you probably expect, but it's like everything we do in the preseason is trying to develop an identity, especially with a new group of guys in our rotation. Obviously, CP, you see the benefit of his sure-handedness with the ball in the fourth quarter. With Loon and Draymond out, Dario did a great job stepping up. Trace, unbelievable minutes. So it might seem like it's just a preseason win, but it's all about developing an identity of how to close games, withstand adversity, and we did that.
Yeah, I look at this, and in fact, just our YouTube chat right now, I want to say hi to Matthew Wangerin, who is with us and watching right now. Mark just won't admit he had missed a phenomenal game. Can't tell us how we should feel it when he didn't see it. Mark is just wrong, period. I have no interest in telling you how to feel whatsoever. I'm telling you how I feel. So in fact, we started off this show by me saying, wow, I clearly missed something.
Yeah.
Because you guys couldn't take your eyes off it, even as a replay, when you already knew what had happened. I'm not worried about it. It's a preseason basketball game. It doesn't matter that I missed it. Clearly, there was an energy in the building that organically developed. Everybody who was there said it felt like a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah.
Obviously, a bunch of us here at the station were there. You ended up watching the game, couldn't take your eyes off it. I started our entire broadcast today by saying anything Steph Curry does, you can't take your eyes off of. So that's all well and good, but all I can do is share with you what my perspective is, which is that right now I feel like the 49ers are, a way bigger deal at the front of my mind in terms of urgency of sports. So, yeah, was last night a cool spectacle? Great. Did it matter to some of you? If it did, knock yourself out. I come from the perspective of let the adorable little guys be the ones who care about the outcome of a preseason game. I love the spectacle. I love that it went in. Cool. But that honestly, even after the fact, when I went back and watched all of the clips, I'm like, cool. There was nothing in me that was like, I'm so glad they won.
Yeah. I don't know if it's
preseason basketball game.
I don't know if it's I'm so glad they won, but the fact that they came from behind in a game that both teams truly cared about, whether or not it matters for the standings or not, it mattered for the 10 or 20 men who were actually playing basketball against each other on the court last night. It mattered.
Yeah.
And no Kings player can tell me that it didn't matter, and no Warriors player can tell me that it didn't matter. Now, does it matter as much as Game 7 in the Western Conference quarterfinals? Of course not. Does it matter as much as next Friday will matter when they meet for the first of 4 times in the regular season? No, it doesn't matter as much as that.
Tuesday?
Did it matter last night on a Wednesday night in October in a preseason game? It mattered last night.
Time out. I never said it didn't matter.
I'm not saying you said it didn't matter.
Never said it didn't matter.
What I'm telling you is because they took it seriously last night, both sides. And if it's Mike Brown and Steve Kerr, if it's Sacramento and Golden State, if it's De'Aaron versus Steph, if it's Sabonis versus Draymond's shoe, and Draymond didn't play, whatever it was about last night, those teams both took it seriously.
No.
Now they didn't treat it as if it was the most important game ever, but they didn't treat it like it was a preseason game. No. And the Warriors came from behind, and so it turned into kind of a cool thing. And I'm just saying, on this day, if the Niners were playing Sunday, not Monday, I probably would feel a little bit differently about the urgency of Minnesota. But to me, the fact that we're still 4 days away, I can allow myself in this moment today, and I know that Week 7 is about to start here with New Orleans taking on Jacksonville, and that will start to sharpen my focus back on the NFL, but maybe it's the summit, maybe it's the fact that the chef hit the game winner, maybe it's the reality of Chris Paul being a Warriors, all those things, and last night beating Sacramento in a meaningless game, all those things have led me to feel a way that I didn't expect to feel.
You don't even need a reason.
I don't need to justify it. I'm just telling you how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel a way that I didn't expect to feel on this Thursday.
And my state of mind right now is that it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. We, in my opinion, are locked in the middle of absolute NFL intensity.
Yeah.
And I wake up with that every day. Tuesday, I don't care what day. I don't care that the Viking game is 4, 5, 6 days away, whatever. We're actually in the games that matter with the 49ers. So I'm not trying to throw water on anybody's boat from yesterday.
Sure.
Have a blast. That like if that one floated your boat, rock out with your Brock out. That's all incredibly amazing. I couldn't be more excited for the Warriors season. I think that the curiosity of the Chris Paul stuff is very, very high. That's all there. I'm actually more tapping in to the 49er fan base than I am the Warrior fan base. If you're a Warrior fan and you love last night, please don't hear my voice and think that I'm telling you not to have a good time or care or whatever. I am tapping into the fact that the 49er fan base right now feels complacent. It really does. You're coming off of a loss and everyone's like, fine. Like, that's just not how I feel.
Yeah.
I think, my God, this is, I don't do the whole must-win thing. I think
especially when you're 5-1.
Yeah, that's kind of silly.
Yeah.
But, like, I could not feel more urgency or intensity about the 49ers winning their next game.
And I get that, and I'm going to speak only for myself when I say part of the reason why I'm not in urgent mode yet is because I don't really know yet about McCaffrey, Debo, and Trent, and Dre Greenlaw, and I know that Isaiah Oliver was limited today because of, and I'll just leave it to Christian, Trent, and Debo, because I don't yet know if they're going to be able to play. I don't really yet know how I feel yet about Monday's game. Now, I feel like even if you're missing all three, you still should be able to beat Minnesota. You'll still be favored, and you still should go to Minnesota and win that game.
Yeah,
but I'm in a little bit of a wait-and-see mode based on the fact that those three guys are day-to-day, and we are still 4 days away from the game on Monday. Now, as we get closer, the sense of urgency that you're talking about, it's going to hit me more powerfully because I don't think that it's a must-win. And if I look at this game and I look at the what-if and the negative of the what-if they go to Minnesota and they lose. Whether those 3 guys play or not, you lose the game, and you're 5-2, and now you've got Cincinnati coming to town. You and I have a bet on that game. Cincinnati's playing better. Cincinnati has a bye this week. That's going to be a difficult game. The Bengals are playing better. Burrow's getting healthy, and they're coming off a bye. So I would look at that game next Sunday, and I would be in more of a mode where you are now in terms of, oh my God, you better not lose that one.
I feel that way about all of them.
No, I know you
really
do.
do.
But honestly,
I really do.
if you, I mean, we could do that in the NFL very easily. I do think there's levels to it.
Yeah.
Like the Cleveland game, I was definitely amped up about because Cleveland's great defense and they were off the bye and it was a 10 a.m. road game. I still thought they were going to win the game. So, and I was wrong.
Yep.
And, you thought they would win. And
of course.
we debated whether or not Cleveland would even score, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was a gimme just because Cleveland's defense
There are
is
no
really, really
gimmies in
good,
the NFL, you know. Yeah.
Exactly.